931, 932.
What are you doing, Johnny?
Counting rice, 933.
I can see you're counting rice, but why, like now on the table?
Well, I'm trying to get an idea of how many, 1 million kids are, because we want to, bring the show to 100 million kids.
Right.
So I was just using rice to show that 930.
There's 100 million grains in this bag?
There's 50,000 grains in that bag, but if you think about it, that's just 2,000 bags, and then we've hit our goal. But hey, Baby Shark has been seen 10 billion times, so that's 200,000 of those bags. So 2,000 bags doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
And you already counted a whole bag.
Oh, I just lost count, Daniel. Dang it.
Well, this is a worthy cause, but we have a live stream to do, and it's on right now.
Oh, hey guys.
Let's take care of that.
My word.
You can take your 900 and whatever it is over there. Welcome, everyone, to the world premiere of Tuttle Twins Episode 7, Cakes, Pies, and Flat Earth Guys. Yes, the twins are going to visit a flirth or flat earth in today's episode. If you haven't already, make sure to comment right now where you're watching from. That really helps the algorithm. Share this live stream with others. Text the link to your friends. When you watch and share live, so what you're doing right now, it really helps boost this out to other people to get exposed to the show. So thank you for being here right now.
Also, for the kids watching, there's actually a fun printable activity page that goes along with today's episode. So you can see that on the right side of the screen. So if you're already on our email list, we sent this to you today. If you want it, just go to TuttleTwins.tv and we'll send it to you immediately. You can print it out and kind of follow along with the episode. But before we start, we have hang tight for about 12 minutes.
Yeah, we've got some important stuff to get to. And one of the biggest ones, without any further ado, we want to welcome comedic YouTuber, freedom lover, and a long-haired redhead that Corinne would absolutely hate, JP Sears. Welcome, JP.
That time it worked.
Where did you get that?
It's a Tibetan gong or whatever. That's how you summon JP.
Here he is.
That was beautiful, and it worked.
So if you want to summon JP.
So glad to be here with you guys. By the way, yeah, anybody at home with one of those Tibetan bowls, just ding it, and apparently I will appear.
Absolutely. No one is going to be disappointed with that. And thanks for repping the shirt, JP. Appreciate it. For those who don't know...
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. For those that don't know what you do, so tell us a little about yourself and how freedom became such a big deal in your life.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I would say I'm a comedian, and that's true. But maybe better said, I spread messages of freedom through the language of comedy. Freedom is the mission. That's what I think God put me on this earth at this time for. And I just use the language of comedy to connect with people, to spread the message. And also, I think we all need to laugh more. I enjoy laughing. But how I got into freedom, and it's weird that that's a valid question in this present day. Oh, man. But, a couple of years ago when the whole pandemic started, and I start to see freedoms get taken away, and I know that had been in process for a long time, but I never really noticed. And I don't like to say that, but I didn't really notice. But once our freedoms start getting taken away, and there's these ridiculous mandates and more on the horizon, I realized, look, freedom is what matters most to me. I think God gave us our natural state as freedom. And that's the gift that makes life an absolute treasure. And I think that's the reason why we hear these stories of people throughout history. And what they have in common is all people become willing to die in the name of freedom if it's deprived of us long enough. Now, nobody on here wants to die, and I don't think I'll come to that.
Speak for yourself, Jason.
Let's do it tonight. Counting the rice. But... and at the same time, with rights getting taken away, and I feel how much freedom matters because some is starting to get taken away. But at that time, I also learned I've got a child on the way. Learned my wife is pregnant, back on April 7th, 2020. That's when we found out. And my little guy, he's 14 months old, and he's the greatest gift in my life. But when I learned he's coming, something else woke up inside of me. Because at the time I'm learning, like, wow, freedom really matters. But now I've got this beautiful child coming into this world, and you and I and all of us, we get to decide what the future looks like for children. They don't get to decide. They'll get to decide when they're adults. But right now, I look at it as adults. Our responsibility is to carve a path of a beautiful, free future for our children. He's right on cue, apparently. So I started to realize I have to do everything in my power to contribute to the freedom movement, because when my child's older, I don't want to have to explain to him what freedom was. I want him to be able to experience the beautiful gift from God called freedom, which, by the way, this is Wilder. He wanted to join us for a minute.
Well, you're going to get a cameo, but that's great.
That's amazing.
That's very well put. So, JP, you actually voice a character in this episode, right? But besides that scene, besides the scene you're in, what's your favorite scene or episode from Tuttle Twins?
Yeah, of course I'm biased. I love the episode that I'm in. I love the message, and of course I'm biased towards myself. But I love them all, but there's a specific one called The Inflation Monster. And, here's a few reasons why I love it. One, it's uplifting for children. Two, it's humorous. All the episodes are. But three, the message. And all the episodes have the message. But this specific message about what inflation is and what children can do growing up and now and into their future to protect themselves from what honestly is a monster of inflation. Because some of the principles that are taught in that single episode, honestly, they took me a couple decades to learn. Because, probably much like yourselves, I grew up being taught, when you earn money, save your money. Put it in a bank account so that you have money in the future. But the world we live in today, what took me a couple decades to learn, is when you put your money in a bank account, you're losing money because of this monster called inflation. Now, it took me a while to learn about this, but the way it's portrayed in the episode in a simple, fun, comedic way, it just, man, that's a message I'm so glad kids are getting exposed to, because it sets them up to be in control of their life and their future, rather than, basically being a victim of inflation where they could struggle throughout their life. So I think it's just a masterful piece put together, and a lesson that everybody on earth needs to hear. By the way, I think adults need to watch that episode as well.
That's what everybody was saying.
We did get some people saying that their kids had nightmares, and I said, me too. This keeps me up at night. Yeah. Probably a different reason than your kid, but inflation monster is real today.
Yeah, like right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
JP, so today, we've talked about this briefly. I think we'll hit on it later in the Q&A. I mean, families they're kind of in offensive mode against totalitarianism and Marxist ideas that are coming in, to schools, even into the homes through TV shows. So our goal with this show is to change hearts and minds with the messages of freedom. We think people like the idea of freedom. They just like we were talking earlier. A lot of times we don't know what that looks like. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you've spoken about this, but I guess just barely. But how have you seen kind of freedom change a life?
Well, I think there's two ways freedom can change a life: when there's a lack of freedom or when there's increased freedom. But looking at the positive, these past couple of years, I know my life, but seen so many people start standing for freedom and embracing freedom and bringing more freedoms into their life. The biggest change that I see when people embrace freedom, stand for it, and take advantage of this beautiful thing called freedom is they become happier and more fulfilled. Now, to me, it's a simple equation where when we embrace our natural state, which is freedom, life is just a gift. We're so much happier. We feel so much more fulfilled. But when we portray that natural state through what I would call the opposite of freedom, being controlled, and oftentimes that feels stress. And oftentimes we're the ones controlling ourselves. We're taking our own freedom. We try to put ourselves in the box. I think I'm supposed to be this person. I think I'm only supposed to do this job, do this kind of schooling. So we control ourselves. And when we do that, what happens to our happiness?
Boom.
It just
down it goes.
So when we're in a free state, we are happy and life feels like a gift. And by the way, when we're in our vibe of freedom, we're also contributing to a better world around us. So it's not just about us, like give ourselves a happy life with freedom. Yeah, that's a part of it. But also our free natural state, when we're embracing that, it uplifts other people and it naturally contributes to the betterment of people in the world around us, in my opinion.
We're getting the lesson before the lesson even comes in the episode. This is fantastic
Eat
stuff,
it up, man.
Yeah, so as Johnny mentioned with the rice earlier, we want to reach 100 million kids with this show. So in a few years, when these kids go on to campuses and voting booths and to contribute within their community, they can defend freedom. So if you're new to the show, Tuttle Twins is free. Like, it's completely free to watch, so it can spread much more quickly. We don't take money from Hollywood, nor would they give it to us, or the government, who probably would give it to us but wouldn't know what they were doing. So there's no hidden agenda here. It's just pure principles of freedom.
That's right. And because of that, like, it's you, our fans, who own the show and fund future episodes. This is your show. We actually got a message from a fan this week, if I can pull it up here.
There it is. Okay, with all the craziness in the world in our classrooms, Tuttle Twins has been a godsend. My kids love it, and I am so proud to help fund it. So thank you for that.
Now, without further ado, thank you, and enjoy the world premiere of Episode 7, Cakes, Pies, and Flat Earth Guys.
There's your veggie wrap. Have a nice day. Welcome to Tuttle's Food for Thought, bookstore and cafe.
Thanks for letting us hold our kids club meeting here, Mom.
We still don't know how the clubhouse ladder got destroyed.
Here you go, Copernicus.
Are these dark spots bugs?
They're chocolate chips.
Ooh, my second favorite.
I'd like to buy this copy of How to Quit Caffeine. Also 4 large iced coffees.
Okay.
You don't look 6.
Mom, we don't need a bouncer. This is not a nightclub.
You say that now, but wait till we get shut down for selling coffee to a toddler.
Your change.
Thanks.
Oh, great.
The monthly meeting of the Cul-de-sac Kids Club has commenced. Today, we are faced with the most important decision of our young lives.
The decision to hide my insecurities by becoming a bully?
Aww.
What?
Bruce just needs a hug and a nap. Today, we're deciding what we're baking for the Animal Shelter Dessert Auction fundraiser. They need $1,000, and the money raised will buy supplies and food for those poor, sweet, hungry animals. Gross! Ugh! down to 2 options, cake or pie.
Why can't you make cake and pie? They're both delicious.
Because there's only 1 entry per organization.
I will no longer question this plot point.
While you're at it, can you no longer check IDs?
Fine. If you need me, I'll be in the kitchen, not eating all of the cookie dough.
So, what'll it be?
We want pie.
Cake or nothing! I have very strong opinions! If pie's in pick, I'm moving to Canada!
This is an easy one.
All in favor of cake.
Psst, Emily, you forgot to raise your hand.
All in favor of pie.
Oops, this is so embarrassing. And don't feel bad, but you're accidentally voting for the wrong side.
I'm voting for pie on purpose, Ethan. It's clearly the better choice. Cake tastes like a frosting-covered sponge.
Well, pie is just fruit soup.
Who are you?
Let me see. Copernicus, you haven't voted yet. You're the tiebreaker. What do you choose? Also, if you say cake, I'll take the air out of your mom's tires.
Pie and cake are the same to me. Just like how this animal is both a dog and a cat.
Your coffees.
Thanks.
Well, you said you wanted to quit.
We'll have a good old-fashioned debate. The Democakes versus the Republicans.
That sounds unnecessarily political.
A representative from each team may now state their case.
Hello, my fellow Kids Club members. I am Ivy Rebecca Ashley Jackson. Cake is the clear choice for this fundraiser. It's good for so many things. Weddings, birthdays, names of alternative rock bands from the 90s that are going the distance. Cake!
Cake! Objection! I want to hear from the side that I agree with.
Kevin Andrew Lee here. Pie is the better choice. We're trying to raise dough. And what is pie made with?
Love!
No, dough. Dough is another word for money. If we want to raise the most dough for the shelter, choose pie. Pie can be used for a picnic, a fancy dinner, and it can be comically thrown to the face. Plus, it's cool because pi is an irrational number.
You're an irrational number. Let us make cake!
Kids will argue about the silliest things.
You got that right. Obviously, pie is the superior dessert.
You're kidding, right? Cake literally takes the cake.
Don't you start with me, Eugene.
Order in the court!
Where'd she get that desk?
Okay, Copernicus, you've heard the arguments. Pie or cake?
I want to be a libertarian.
Cake rhymes with fake, and I keeps it real!
Pie rhymes with die, and I want to live!
How's it going, you two?
So good.
Couldn't be better.
Okay. Why don't you two take a break and go help Grandma in the kitchen?
Fine.
Okay. Corinne is the enemy. If you agree with her, that means you're my enemy too.
I wouldn't be your enemy if you just changed your side.
Never! Pie is chunky juice.
You two sound like me and Betsy Ross. She wanted the flag to have horizontal stripes, and I wanted it to be a picture of my face.
Speaking of weird things, some kids think cake is better than pie. It's getting out of control in there, Grandma.
Everyone is shouting, and no one's listening to each other.
La 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 la. I'm not listening.
And we've even started name calling.
Pie is crusty like your mom!
Cake is weak like your dad. At this rate, we won't make any dessert to donate to the animal shelter fundraiser.
How do we get everyone to agree?
As long as you listen and respect each other, you don't have to.
Huh?
We don't?
I'll show you. Hold on.
I've made my decision.
Wait, Grandma!
Copernicus, here it is. Oh, we missed the very, very ending. Summon JP quickly. Okay.
JP is back. well, don't worry, guys. We'll show you the end scene afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd love to hear what you thought of the episode in the comments. It's such a
Timely
episode.
Timely message, yeah.
Message.
Disagreeing with someone doesn't make them into your enemy. JP, loved hearing your voice in there. It was so perfect for the part. Tell us what that was like. What was that like? This was the first time you've recorded your voice for an animated character, right?
Yeah, it is. It's super exciting for me. First off, I love the episode. This is my favorite episode. The message is so timely. And, if you want to be happy in life, you have to learn to accept people when you disagree. If you want to be unhappy, then only let people in your life that you agree with. And guess what? You're going to be pretty lonely because you don't agree with any single person on everything. It's just impossible. But by the way, I think we grow and learn by encountering different perspectives. But if we just reject and divide when we hear a different perspective, we're never going to grow, we're never going to learn, so we lose out. So, but to your actual question, the recording was so mysterious because the episode comes alive with the animation and the different characters together. So even though I saw the script, it's like I really had no idea, like, what is this episode gonna look like? And tonight's the first time I got to see it as well, along with everybody else. So it was just amazing to see this little seed of like, cool, I'm recording these lines to myself. Nobody else is talking back. But then see that seed germinate into this beautiful episode is very exciting.
Awesome.
You've got a good voice for animation. It's very fun, very captivating.
John,
yeah, very entertaining.
When you say I have a good voice for animation, does that mean
just stay behind the screen, JP?
It's similar to saying you have a radio voice.
You have a good voice for radio. Backhand.
I got the message.
Oh man. Well, Johnny knows a thing or two about that too, right? You record on every single episode.
Yeah. I channel my 11-year-old boy, and there it is. Yeah. So
it all works out well.
In the meantime, hey, tell us your comments. Any questions for JP? Put them in the comments. Let's get him going. Anything. Any personal questions? Social security number? What else?
Driver's license number.
Driver's license. Whatever you want. JP is all yours.
He's an open book.
He's an open book.
Do you have access to this? Okay, here. Oh, we've written them right on screen. Can JP make us a vegan pizza?
So I'm guessing that. Thank you, Hills Billies, for the question. And obviously, you're a fan. You've watched my stuff. So the question I think is referencing. And several years ago, I made a video about how to make a cucumber vegan pizza using only cucumber. So the crust is ground up cucumber, the cheese is shredded cucumber. It is just disgusting. And one time I was in Palm Beach, Florida, doing comedy shows at the club, and the kitchen staff, they made me the same vegan pizza that I made on the video, and I was obligated to eat a piece, which is just cucumbers dribbling through my hand. Is very messy. So I appreciate the question, but for your benefit, I will not make you a vegan pizza.
Do you ever cook, JP? Do you like to cook?
I cook, but I don't like to cook. It's one of those. Like it's an art form, but it's not really what I like to do. So I like to eat good food, like healthy, nutritious, so I can have good energy and feel good and be healthy. But usually I'm not spending much time in the kitchen. I'll, warm up the food, cook it simple. And
love it.
Cool.
What other questions we got?
Let's see here.
No question. I just like your hair.
Oh, wow. Just a statement. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Yes.
I wish everyone knew this rule. If I know it and understand it, how can I work with someone who doesn't feel the same way?
Oof.
So I'm assuming the rule of this episode, right?
Yeah. JP, I'll bet you have thoughts on this one. I mean, you've made YouTube videos that are kind of along these lines of people just wanting to only find the information that they already agree with rather than be challenged or anything like that.
Yeah.
What do you think of this question?
I think it's a great question. So for me, the answer comes through choosing an acceptance-based mindset versus an agreement-based mindset. So if we approach a conversation with someone who doesn't agree with us on a given rule or anything, if we tell ourselves, I'm here to accept this person, whether we agree or disagree, we come with an open heart. And that's a choice we can all make inside of ourselves. but a lot of times it's easier to close our heart, reject them if they see it differently.
Yep.
So it sounds easy, but sometimes it's tough because when someone disagrees with us, we can get mad. We can feel like deep down, usually like I'll feel insecure, like, am I wrong, or do they not value me as a person? It's like, no, they see it differently. So we can override that by making a choice to have an open heart. Basically, I like to say to myself, I accept this person as they are without the need to change them. And here's something else. Even though I might have a strong point of view about something, I always ask myself, well, what is there for me to learn in this conversation?
Right.
Sometimes I'll change my mind or add to my perspective, and other times I won't. But it's fun to learn and fun to grow. And by the way, I look at all this stuff I believed like 5 years ago. Thank God I outgrew that. Like, I disagree with my past self.
Right.
So I think it's beautiful to take that into a conversation with anybody.
Yeah.
Love it,
Yeah.
man.
Love that. Okay, my kids want to know, who is JP's favorite character on Tuttle Twins?
Yeah, I like them all, but I won't be politically correct and just say I like them all equally. Gabby, the grandmother, she's so quick, she's so witty, she's so irreverent. So she tickles me on the inside. I think she adds so much to the show, sometimes with just short appearances, but Gabby.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, any other questions for JP or for us for that matter, or even on the NFT sale? Anything you guys want right now? How do you feel like parenting has grown you? Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. It's helped me become less selfish. I think it'd be impossible to parent while only being selfish. And I think selfishness, we're all selfish at times, but just being selfish or too selfish, it's a recipe for an unhappy life. I think one of the keys to a happy life is contributing to other people, supporting other people, and like parenting is just the most beautiful example of that. The other thing parenting has really taught me, and this is probably the biggest lesson, it's taught me how to have an open heart more of the time. Because, I connect with my son via the heart, which, by the way, like the lesson of this episode, what doesn't work for us is when we try to connect with people just through agreement. That's like connecting with our heads. But to have real connection in life, it's connecting with our hearts. And that's accepting other people for who they are. And like just my son has been the greatest teacher, teaching me how to have an open heart way more of the time.
Awesome. Okay, any other questions for the team or for JP or for anybody here? Okay. JP, how did you come up with your costume for the ragged news anchor? Or was it the raged news anchor?
So
ragged. Okay.
Ragged news anchor. Yeah, so for those who haven't seen him, Shauna, thank you for the question. A lot of times on a weekly basis, I'm doing comedy videos, but I'm the news anchor, and I'll have a torn suit and shredded shirt. So I came up with that, I think it was late 2020. It was during the time of the election and like all the stress and drama of that. By the way, like everybody like hating each other who they disagree with. It's just like perfect. They needed to watch this episode 7. But, I just felt like the suit was mirroring the societal's stress and how it was falling apart. So I started off like the suit was a little bit torn up, but as like the division in society kept going, I just kept tearing the suit up because I wanted that to reflect the state of mind that a lot of people were in as a way of visually portraying it.
Very cool. All right.
Any more questions?
Yeah, any more questions for JP or us? My 10-year-old wants you to say hi to her. Her name is Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Amanda.
That's probably for JP. It's probably not for us.
No, it was probably for you guys, but I'm selfish enough. I want to say hi to her too. Hey, Amanda, thank you for watching, Amanda. You're awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for even asking us to do that. It's fun to say hi directly to people by name. Okay, thank you. And how long has it been on YouTube, and how has it changed you? Oh, how long have you been on YouTube, JP, and how has it changed you?
Yeah, I've been on YouTube since 2013. So, wow, 9 years ago. And the first couple of years of that, I wasn't doing comedy videos, just like life advice videos. So I've been doing the comedy videos for about 7 years now. And yeah, how's it changed me? It's giving me a beautiful outlet for creativity, and that's helped me discover more of who I am. Before I was doing YouTube videos, I didn't have a creative outlet. They were available. I just didn't have one. I've never into art or music or cooking, things like that. But making YouTube videos and the comedy videos, that's my creativity, and that gives me so much joy. It helps me contribute also to a better world. And funny thing I discover about creativity, and Daniel and Johnny, I know you guys swim in creativity, but being creative, that's like the main way that I get to discover more about who I am and what matters to me. So it's hopefully changed me for the better. At least I think it has.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know when we first had the conversation about you coming on here, because you mentioned how it's molded who you are and what matters to you, and kind of maybe help clarify that, is you mentioned, freedom and family are like two of your big things, and that was where you found so much alignment with us. Was, this show is all about teaching families about freedom. So there's kind of a really good cross section there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I'll add another F word to it.
A kid appropriate one.
Freedom, family, and fun. I think supporting freedom, supporting family, there's a lot of ways to do that. They all matter, but we can do that having fun. We don't have to be all serious all the time. We don't need to suffer all the time. Of course, there's hard work involved with supporting freedom and family, but I think what we have in common, the Tuttle Twins series, and Daniel, I know all the work that you guys do, we like to have fun while we do our best to positively impact the world. And, within my family, my little boy and my wife, we're always laughing and we're looking to have fun. So, I think fun is part of the lifeblood that spreads the nutrient of joy throughout us. So we align pretty masterfully, all of us, I think, on freedom, family, and fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's been a joy to have you on. If we have any other questions, let's take them now before we jump out of here. You want to get that one, Johnny?
Yeah, my son wants to know, is JP your first name, or is it short for something?
JP stands for just perfect. No, it's my first and middle name is Jonathan Patrick, but ever since I was just a young little boy, my family's always called me JP, so it's just my initials.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
I identify as JP.
Does JP live under a rock? The moon?
No.
The moon is a rock.
Various rocks in the sky, so yeah, I guess I do.
Sure. On a rock.
He actually lives in the cliff, in a rock, not under it.
Awesome.
Natural way of living.
One last reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video. That, again, helps YouTube's algorithm. And make sure that you have commented and done all those good things that really help us out. And thank you so much for joining us live.
Yeah.
That means the world to us. It really helps to get it out to more people. And thank you, JP, for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. And I feel like I'm like uplifted and enlightened and inspired just by all the things you've shared. It's been awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, guys, and just all you beautiful people on this live stream. Is just a joy to be on with everybody, supporting a show that matters to me. I mean, freedom, family, and fun. The Tuttle Twins checks those boxes better than any other show I've seen, so it's just a joy to be on here with everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, JP.
Cool. And everybody, join us next month. We're going to have the Babylon Bee on the show, so that'll be a fun little thing.
Yes, Babylon Bee is a lot of fun. And then I forgot to mention that it is at TuttleTwins.store tonight's the last night for the Derek exclusive T-shirt,
that's right. Yep.
We've got the Derek Freedom is Wild. We don't even have the one on.
I think we do. We
from
can
this
throw
episode.
it up really
Oh, there
fast.
it is.
So
There
this
it
is the one from Cakes and Pies. You can get this Derek
That's now
one.
available. But the one that was available from episode 6, the Inflation Monster, that one is no longer available tonight. But if you make your order tonight, then it prints tomorrow and it ships off.
Yep. That one's actually a pretty sweet one.
Yep.
TuttleTwins.store. That's how you get it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. All 450 of you beautiful people who emailed us and attended live.
Yeah.
We love you.
Well, a lot more than that attended live, but of the emails.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Oh, will you look at that? I have an imaginary girlfriend too, but mine has more body hair.
Huh?